Where is she? Doru, where is she? I don't know. I swear, I don't know where she is. Enough lies. Just tell us, what did you do to her? No, I didn't touch her. This is Doru Iliescu, a man now in custody, suspected of kidnapping and murdering his coworker and former girlfriend, Bianca Dragomir. And at this point, detectives knew something chilling. If he didn't break now, they might never find her. Not the truth, not a reason, not even a body. But Doru? He thought he was untouchable, smarter than everyone in the room. But that illusion, it would be his downfall. It started on August 7th, 2012, in the quiet industrial town of Bécancour, Quebec. Bianca's family received a strange string of text messages. They were supposedly from her, but something was off. Leaving town, not coming back, quit job, needs space. The grammar was off, the voice just wrong. It didn't sound like Bianca. And her mother knew instantly something wasn't right. Within the hour, she filed a missing persons report. No one had seen Bianca since she clocked out of her shift at Le Poisson Brûle, a busy seafood spot off Autoroute 55. She was supposed to be home by 10, but she never walked through the door. Days passed. No texts, no calls, no trace of her at all. Then a break. Security footage. It came from the restaurant's parking lot. The video was grainy, but what it showed was unmistakable. At 9:47 p.m., Bianca walked toward a silver sedan parked near the back lot. She opened the passenger door and climbed in. Then, something violent. The car jerked, the passenger door flew open, slammed shut 3 times, hard enough to echo. Moments later, the car pulled away. That was the last time anyone saw Bianca alive. Detectives zoomed in. The vehicle matched one owned by Doru Iliescu, Bianca's former manager and ex-boyfriend. They had dated quietly for just under 3 months. Co-workers described their relationship as unstable, hidden, tense, occasionally explosive. When police traced the car back to Doru, they didn't move in right away. They needed more, so they watched, they listened, and they waited for the perfect moment to strike. 2 days later, Doru was pulled over on what seemed like a routine traffic stop. Something about an unpaid citation. They asked if he could come down to the station to clear it up. He agreed, smiling, cooperative. He had no idea what was waiting for him. At the Sûreté de Québec detachment in Trois-Rivières, he was escorted into a plain gray interrogation room. "Wait here," they said. "Someone will be with you shortly." Then silence. For 90 long minutes he sat alone, not cuffed, not charged, just waiting. But still he thought he had the upper hand. He thought it was all a misunderstanding. He thought they had nothing. He was wrong. Finally, the door creaked open. Detective Remus Chirilla stepped in first, followed closely by his partner Sonia Lupu. Just 3 days earlier, Remus had questioned Doru in this same room. That time it felt routine, almost relaxed. But today, the energy was colder, sharper, intentional. Doru recognized him instantly, and something flickered across his face. He knew this wasn't about a traffic citation. This was Bianca. Still, he forced a grin, straightened his back, tried to keep the act intact. "So, Bianca, how long did you say you knew her?" It sounded like small talk. It wasn't. Doru leaned forward, searching for the version that might work. "Yeah, like I said before, I knew her from the restaurant. She started there maybe 9 months ago. We hung out, I think, 2 or 3 months after that. I was seeing someone else at the time, but me and Bianca just sort of clicked, you know? We'd hang out after shifts, nothing serious. We had similar upbringings, I guess." It came out smooth, the kind of answer that dances just close enough to the truth to feel safe. But his words were padded, practiced, overfilled with soft edges. He wasn't answering, he was narrating. And the detectives knew it. "She started messing with pills. I did some too, but she went deeper. I backed off." He paused. Then, about a month ago, I ran into her again. She looked better, gained weight, smiling. We talked, hung out once or twice, nothing serious. She came over, had a few drinks, watched TV. It was a picture he wanted them to see. Calm, harmless, casual. But the detectives didn't buy it. And now they were about to test him. For 5 long minutes, Doru didn't answer. He talked. Circles of memories, half-truths tangled with nervous filler. All to dodge one question. How long did you know Bianca? To the untrained ear, it might sound like honesty, but to experienced interrogators, it was too clean, too careful. So they struck, quietly. They asked about the one detail he thought they'd missed. In his earlier interview, Doru said he hadn't seen her in weeks. But they'd watched the footage. And the footage didn't lie. Okay, and when was the last time you actually saw her? There was a pause, a flicker in his eyes. And then, for the first time, his voice wavered. All right, I didn't tell you the truth, not at Bonefish. The last time I saw her was, Wednesday afternoon. His words came out slow, strained, and as they left his mouth, you could almost see the weight of them land. She was spreading things at work, saying we were still together, that we were hooking up. I wanted it to stop, so I asked her to meet me outside by the lot, around 5:30, maybe? This moment shifted everything. His timeline now lined up with the footage. What he didn't know? Investigators had already seen her get in that car. Had he known that, this version might have sounded different. But Doru still thought he was in control. I pulled up and said, "We need to talk." She agreed. I told her what she was saying was screwing with my job. Then came the odd twist. She asked to sit in the car, claimed she'd done heroin and felt jumpy, but it didn't track. Bianca was due on shift minutes later. No one, family, friends, co-workers, had ever seen signs of drug use. Not once. Who panics in a parking lot, then punches in for work like nothing happened. The story didn't just crack, it caved. And the detectives felt it. She got in. I told her again, enough with the rumors, it's over. She got defensive, said it wasn't true. I didn't buy it. I lost it, stepped out, punched the tire, told her, next time, it's your windows. There it was, rage barely dressed up as frustration. A violent undertone, camouflaged as a casual moment. And Doru? He kept talking, unaware of what he was revealing. She had her phone in her hand, opened the door, started walking toward the plaza. Looked like she was texting or maybe calling. Then this truck pulled up. Old, green. Ford, I think. She got in. The detectives leaned closer. How long between her walking off and the truck arriving? His face tightened. A faint drop of sweat slipped down his temple. Maybe a minute? Less? But the footage said otherwise. No walk-off, no phone call, no truck. Bianca never stepped out of that car, not once. And yet, Doru kept spinning his version. Still calm, still sure of himself. Believing every word gave him control, but each one frayed the narrative until the seams came apart on their own. The detectives stayed quiet, no interruptions, no emotion. Just the weight of silence, suffocating, intentional. Doru kept talking, thinking he was buying time. But with every sentence, he exposed more. He wasn't hiding the truth, he was spilling it, slowly, like water slipping through cracks. He'd already handed them motive, placed himself at the scene, matched the timeline. All that remained was the endgame. And to get there, they didn't need force. They needed control, precision, and patience. Because Doru Iliescu was unraveling. Yeah. When did this happen? July, maybe a few weeks back. But his body told a different story. The wound was too fresh, edges inflamed, skin torn just enough to sting, the surface still weeping under the fluorescent light. This wasn't healing, this was new. I peeled the scab last night, Doru said, voice jumping ahead of his breath. It opened again this morning, at work. The words stumbled out, scripted and stiff, the kind of lie rehearsed alone in the mirror, never meant to survive real scrutiny. The detectives didn't interrupt. They didn't have to. They just watched. An hour ago, Doru had been composed. Shoulders back, voice steady, calm in all the ways that mattered. Now, his fingers twitched in sync with the erratic beat of his foot against the linoleum, a quiet percussion of unraveling. He had told them before he hadn't seen Bianca in weeks, and back then, the same foot had bounced. The same tremble had betrayed him. The detectives noticed the neck wound the moment he walked in. Not just the mark, but the temperature of it, the flush of raw skin, the way his collar shifted when he moved. But they waited until he stacked one lie too many. Now they circled back. Could you see who was in the truck? Doru blinked, stalled. The windows were tinted. I think I saw a baseball cap. Male or female? Light skin? Dark? I don't know, just the cap. That's all I saw. She got in like she knew the person? Yeah, she got right in. The silence that followed wasn't passive, it was tactical. It expanded in the room, pressing in from the walls, the kind of quiet that isn't empty, but watchful. Then came the strike. Doru, the detective said, voice low but direct. You knew she was missing. We've been out there searching for her, speaking to her family, and you just now remember this? A pause. His eyes flicked toward the floor. I didn't think it mattered then. I regret that, I really do. But regret doesn't rewind. And by now Doru had already done the damage. He'd confirmed Bianca was in his car. He'd tied himself to the last time she was seen. He admitted to anger, threats. Then he twisted the story into fiction, fabricated a green truck, invented a faceless driver, sketched a getaway that never happened. In his mind, it made him look honest, cooperative, like someone trying to help. But to the detectives watching, every gesture, every syllable, it painted something else entirely. Not panic, not confusion. Control, calculated, cold, carefully layered. They didn't raise their voices. They didn't need to. They just held the silence and let Doru's own words pull the noose tighter. I wasn't trying to scare anyone, Doru said, quieter now. I was just talking, just trying to help. The detective's stare didn't soften. He didn't blink. Didn't give Doru an exit. A breath passed. Then, talking? He asked, voice dropping. Or covering your tracks? Doru's eyes shot up, startled. No, I freaked out. I mean, someone's missing. His voice cracked, a ripple through his performance. Yes, the detective said, and you told us you weren't the last to see her. A beat. I meant at work. I meant I was the last one to see her at the restaurant. But it didn't land. The temperature in the room had shifted. No, Doru, the detective replied. You were the last person anyone saw her with. That's not an assumption. It's not a theory. It's what the footage shows. His voice lowered again, like dropping a blade. She got into your car, we know that, but she never got out. He let the silence settle. Let it bite. You're not hiding anymore. Not from us. That's when the tone changed. Detective Liana Torres, quiet until now, leaned forward slightly. Her voice was soft, not rehearsed, human. It didn't accuse, it ached. Doru, she said gently, this isn't the full picture of you. I believe that. She stepped closer. The air between them thickened, not just with tension, but with the weight of unspoken truths. Her voice dropped, steady, but stripped of performance. Not sympathy, something quieter, something real. You didn't set out to kill her, did you? She asked, not accusing, just looking him in the eye. But right now, by saying nothing, you're erasing the only part of her that's left for the people who loved her. The room seemed to shrink, even the walls were listening. She's still out there, Doru, alone, and every morning her family wakes up praying this is all some nightmare they'll blink away. But it's not. You can end that. You can give them something back, a place to grieve, a place to speak her name. His jaw clenched. But his body betrayed him. His shoulders gave first, sagging under the weight of what he knew, what he'd done. Torres leaned in slightly. Not pushing, not pressuring. You don't have to carry all of this, but you do have to own it, now, not later. Don't wait for the moment to pass. Tell us where she is. I don't know, he mumbled, the words brittle, cracking. Yes, you do. Is she still at your house? No. In your car? No. Then where, Doru? No hesitation now. The question sliced through the room. We saw her try to run, the detective said, 3 times. That door flung open again and again. You know how we know? We watched every second, frame by frame. Doru blinked hard. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. She panicked, he finally said, voice barely audible. Said I was scaring her. She hit me first. And you hit her back? He swallowed. She swung again. I grabbed her. I pulled her close, told her to stop. His hands shook now. The bravado was gone. She just stared at me, frozen, and then nothing. The detective didn't move. She tried to get away. You stopped her, because you were afraid of what she'd say. I told her not to hit me again, Doru muttered. She calmed down, so we left. Why would she leave with you after that? We'd fought before, he whispered. Sometimes she didn't care. Even he didn't believe it anymore. The room seemed to know it too, its silence pressed in, thick with the truth he hadn't said yet. Doru, the detective said, voice steady but stripped down. People lose control, it happens, but what they choose next, that's what defines them. Her family? They're not waiting for a miracle anymore. They're starting to mourn. Don't leave them stranded in the unknown. The words didn't land like an accusation, they landed like gravity. And slowly, like something folding in on itself, Doru began to give. I didn't mean to hurt her, he said. She just kept pushing. And then? I told her to stop. She wouldn't, so I grabbed her. Where? A beat. Her neck? Time didn't move. It held its breath. She was screaming, swinging, and then she wasn't. The silence that followed wasn't stillness. It was weight. Heavy. Absolute. Where is she now? His reply barely formed a sound. There's a lake, Pine Hollow, off the trail. I left her by the water, covered her with some brush. 3 days later, they found her. Pine Hollow Lake was quiet, but the scene was anything but peaceful. Her body was barely intact, burned, soaked, eaten away by time and heat, unrecognizable, erased. No cause of death could be confirmed, but they didn't need one. Doru had already told them everything. In August 2023, he pled guilty to manslaughter and concealment of human remains. The sentence, 34 years in provincial custody. No parole for the first 20. The courtroom didn't weep. It didn't erupt. It simply exhaled, the sound of truth settling in. Bianca Radu was 23. A sister, a daughter, a friend. She wasn't paperwork. She wasn't a soundbite. She was a life, a person worth remembering. Doru didn't. He didn't spiral. He chose silence. He chose secrecy. But the truth? It doesn't rot quietly. It rises. And when it surfaces, it doesn't whisper, it screams. If you or someone you know is living in the shadow of coercion or violence, speak. Reach out. Don't wait before silence becomes something permanent. And if this story stayed with you, if Bianca's voice still lingers, don't let it fade in the noise. Leave a comment, let your voice carry hers forward. Like this video if you believe stories like Bianca's deserve to be told. And subscribe for more true crime investigations that refuse to look away, one case at a time.